About 20 years ago, vampires, monsters thought to be fictional, appeared in the world. Disguising themselves as human, they existed in society, though nothing was amiss, and began attacking humans under cover of darkness. This made humans fear vampires. Rumors also spread. Some say they possessed powers beyond human intelligence. Others say if they bit you, then you'd turn into a vampire. There was no way to kill them, and they might be hiding right next to you. In the end, people could only keep suspecting each other. Suha was welcomed into Decilis Academy, a night school. Classes started at 9 p.m., something she'd have to get used to. The counselor apologized because they didn't usually take in transfer students this time of year, but there were no vacancies in the new dormitory, so they temporarily prepared the old dormitory for her. Also, according to school rules, students can't leave the school after sunset. Suha was warned to not wander around, especially since there was another murder nearby recently, rumored to be the work of vampires. Suha gasped hearing that. However, the academy was known for its comprehensive entrance exams, so the counselor assured there was no way a vampire could infiltrate the students or staff. They'd passed by another student who paused, catching eyes with Suha. He apologized, continuing on his way. Entering the old dormitory, her room was certainly something. This gotta be one of the worst default bed placements I've ever seen. And yet, Suha was so excited. This was Riverfield City's most famous school, known for thoroughly excluding vampires. She was so elated people wouldn't think she was a vampire anymore. This time, she was definitely going to live a normal campus life. A secluded and dirty room was nothing because of her superhuman strength. But with the boy walking in on her suddenly lifting the bed, she got flashbacks to her horrific childhood of people calling her a vampire. She frantically told him she wasn't a vampire, and he believed her. After all, vampires couldn't get in here. Regardless, she didn't want to even be suspected because she hated vampires. This caught the boy off guard. She remembered he told her he was here for a book and scrambled to grab it. It was a book about ancient legends. She began to run her mouth about how she liked reading too, but caught herself, apologizing for talking too much. She was just happy someone finally saw the way she was and didn't suspect her for being a vampire. After he left, he suddenly came back into the room to ask her name, getting her flustered. He thought Suha was quite cute. His name was Heli, and he was in the 12th grade. He'd talk about it with his boys, the red-haired Gino and blonde-haired Shion, explaining to them Suha was staying in the old dormitory they had used as a storage room. Shion was annoyed they couldn't hang out there anymore, but Heli said they could, as long as they made friends with Suha, especially since Shion was such a good conversationalist. Jaka brought up their stuff was still in there. Noah added they'd have to find time to get it. Solon and John entered, wanting to know what they were talking about, and John reminded them they couldn't be friendly with the other students. Heli understood what he was saying, but thought there was something different about Suha. He was strangely drawn to her. Solon questioned if their kind even had those feelings. But even getting close, humans would never accept them. That aside, he wondered why all of them were in his room. On her first day of school, Suha took a breath to calm her nerves. She spotted Heli with his boys and ran towards him, only to hear Solon tell them not to get involved with a new transfer student. Heli spotted her, and with them all looking her way, she wondered if it was true no one would accept her here either. They weren't expecting her to look so sad. Shion walked up to greet her right away and started shaking her hand. Gina would cut in, calling Shion a problem child and that she shouldn't get close. But she could be his friend instead. John would enter next, telling her not to worry about what Solon said, and that they didn't agree. Oh, bro. They all simping for her immediately. I see where this is going. John would add that this was their duty as humans. A very human thing to say, that they needed to be kind to transfer students. Suha was glad, despite Solon being cold towards her. Since they still had time before class, Heli offered to show her around, and the rest of the boys wanted in, except Solon. He ended up going with them anyway. First stop, the library, and it was vast. Wandering the halls, we learned Shion was a 10th grader, same as Suha and Solon. John and Gino were in the 11th grade, and of course, Heli was the oldest. There were also 2 other 9th graders, Jaka and Noah, who usually hung out with them as well. They were close because they grew up in the same orphanage. None of them had parents. They went to the sports field, where Noah and Jaka were attending practice. The two were fiercely competitive and always practiced extra. Suddenly, a night ball came flying at Suha, and John would body block to keep her safe. Noah and Jaka went a little too hard and apologized, but checking up on Suha, she was quite flush, being held in Heli's arms. She was thankful but made the excuse she forgot something and ran off to her room for now. By her dorm, she thanked Salon, who was waiting there. She could tell he was the one who pulled her out of the way when the ball came flying. He tried to deny saving her, using the excuse he just wanted to dust off her clothes. Who is buying that? He warned her not to get too close to them. They couldn't be friends with anyone. Internally, however, he wondered why he felt so strange, so drawn to her. The other boys talked about understanding what Helly meant. It's like she had a mysterious appeal, like some force was tugging at their heartstrings, as if it made them want to grant all her wishes. Xian wondered if this was love. Suha, meanwhile, began to cry, telling Salon she was fine not greeting them again, and he tried to tell her Hai was just fine. He sighed, telling her not to get the wrong idea. It's not like he disliked her, but he couldn't tell her the reason. The next day, Helly was waiting at her door. He wanted to head to class with her. He was pretty popular. All the students greeted him as they passed through the halls. He told her not to worry about what Salon said, and used telepathy to tell her they had some secrets they couldn't tell anyone. She couldn't believe he was speaking directly in her head. This was his special power. He was only telling her. Xian was happy to see Suha was in the same class as him. He wanted her to sit next to him, but she could see the seat already had someone else's stuff on it. Xian didn't care. He'd just tell Salon to move. Suha would panic, seeing he was right behind her, but he told her it was fine. With class over, Suha was going to clean her room, and Xian would invite himself over to help, along with the rest of the boys. They basically started simp maxing, with Xian saying cleaning was his favorite thing in the world. Even though the boys knew that wasn't true, Suha tried to help, but picking up a particular box, Xian would warn it was dangerous. The tarp came off, revealing a ton of heavy dumbbells. Her secret blown again. Helly took it off her hands, using his telepathy to tell her not to worry. He had this kind of strength as well. The boys realized he was using his telepathy on her, and he just simply asked her to keep it a secret. They'd keep her power a secret as well. Xian would show off that he could float. John would balance the dumbbells with precision. Gino could warm her hands with his fire if they got cold. And Noah could control darkness. Salam was getting irritated with his boys, but Suha would look towards him with curiosity. He wasn't going to show her though. After things were said and done, Suha was glad to have met other people that had special powers too. She remembered a time in her youth where Chris offered to be her friend when she was lonely, and thought Helly resembled him. Solon and Helly would argue over seeing her, however, because the truth was, they were vampires. Alright, what a fun start to some, I'm sure, reverse harem vampire slop. Not that I think that's bad or anything, I'm just assuming that's what this series is. For those unfamiliar, this series is actually based on the South Korean boy band enrolls, who I have never heard a single song, except for the show's opening. So, fans of these guys are gonna have to give me some recommendations. Want me to keep covering this series? Make sure you subscribe. But for now, watch this next video. It's me, Comfy T. I'll see you all in the next one.